Okay, so I am recording my very first video, super fast video, just to get it online, just to introduce to you my YouTube channel. And John, ObeseToBeast, was kind enough to let me use our interview for my first video, so I'm going to attach that. If I can figure it out, we'll see, but fingers crossed. So I'll get that going. Yeah, so enjoy the best interview I've ever had in my entire life, because that is seriously a day that I will never ever forget. And being able to share my journey and my story with all of you guys is just absolutely incredible. I never ever thought that people would think that I was interesting. So enjoy the video, and I'll be seeing you soon in some other cool videos. So thank you.
What's up, you guys? John here for ObeseToBeast with
Stacia 2.0.
the beautiful Stacia 2.0. So this is actually one of the coolest people I've ever met on Instagram. Yeah, not seriously. So you have lost 100 plus pounds, right?
Yes, over 100.
So you started at
500 pounds.
and you were at around 400 something.
No, I'm like 390 something.
Oh yeah,
I
you
haven't
lost
been,
like 2.0. I remember. Yeah,
yeah,
saw
I
that
haven't
you were-
weighed in like several weeks. I'm doing this scale fast thing.
Okay, well that's always good.
Yeah.
Scale is evil. So I actually found her obviously through Instagram, and it's cool that you're here. It was just random. She like, hit me up on Instagram. She said, "Hey, I'm in your city. Let's hang out." And I was like, "Let's do it." So, but now we're hanging out. But I thought it would be cool to have you come on to the show, this show that we're on. There's no show, I don't know what I'm talking about. And just kind of tell your story, because it's always interesting. Like I have a lot of people that follow me that are in the middle of their journey, right? So it's hard to relate, right? I mean, it's hard to relate to someone that's kind of already been there and is done.
Yeah.
So it's always really cool. Like I had Danny on when he was here. He kind of told his story. You know, he's in the middle of his journey as well. So I thought it would be awesome. And it's crazy to me thinking that I've made a connection with someone like totally different. You know, you're female. You know, it's just like a totally different thing. And I never thought I would be able to connect with someone that's like, we're obviously not, you know, we're obviously different. So it would be cool to hear your story on, you know, and just bring something else to people. So
The other followers.
exactly.
For your female followers.
Yeah, get all the ladies in the channel.
ladies.
So yeah,
The ladies love John.
No, they don't.
LL Cool.
LL
Jay.
Cool John. Jay. Oh, that works. There you go. So if you could tell, I mean, if you just want to start, I don't know, whatever, what kicked it off? What made you want to change? You know what I mean? You know, I'm sure you've heard that question a billion times.
Every day.
Yeah, exactly.
So I started at 500 pounds, and
and you're how tall?
6 feet tall.
Okay.
So it looks different on me than this guy over here. So I was living in Oregon, and I was miserably depressed. I mean, just ready to.
Yeah. I've been there.
And I think a lot of people have been there or thought of it. And I got to the point of writing the letter.
Yeah. The one. Yeah.
That part. And you think about who you have to say goodbye to, who you have to apologize to. And I thought about my niece and nephew, who were 1 and 6 at the time.
Yeah.
If I cry, I'm sorry. but I could not fathom being their example of their first experience of death. I couldn't bear the thought of them growing up and thinking, when life's really hard, I'm just gonna give in and give up. I couldn't handle the idea of my nephew Bowen growing up and not knowing me and just I was a face in a picture of that's Aunt Stacia, and I just know she wasn't strong enough or brave enough to fight. And
it's crazy how many people, sorry to interrupt, but like how many people go through that when they're morbidly obese. You know what I mean? Like I never got to the point where I wrote the letter or anything like that, but like I talk about how there's been times where I would be sitting in my room crying, and like the reason I was crying was because I had those thoughts.
Yeah.
And then it's weird how like you get so numb to everything.
Right.
And then it all hits, so I'm like thinking in my head like, okay, I'm gonna do this, and then like it all hits you at once. That like, what am I thinking?
Right.
And then I would just start crying in my
Exactly.
room. Yeah. So I know exactly.
And that's
what you mean.
exactly the moment I had. So in that moment of knowing what I'm doing, when I'm doing, where I'm, and how, oh my God, I can't do this.
Yeah, you're just like, what the? Who is that wrote
and I
that?
lost it. I completely lost my mind. Called the doctor, like flipped out.
That's good that you did that. Most people.
Yeah, I mean, but I've battled with depression and like suicide for years. I mean, it wasn't my first time.
Yeah.
For years, I had been in treatment for it before.
Okay.
Like, and so I called the doctor and I went to them and said, I think my depression medicine's not working. I almost killed myself last night. And she was like, we should probably just talk about something different than medicine.
Yeah.
You know? I'm like, ugh. And in that moment I thought, well, if I get skinny, everything's gonna be fine. So I asked her to prescribe me diet pills. Thought that'll help, you know? And she literally told me, absolutely not. And I said, but yeah, right? And I'm thinking, but you get paid to give me medicine, you know? And she said, no, I'm not putting a Band-Aid on this. We're not even talking about weight loss surgery until you get your mind right, until you fix your mind. And that was in that moment, that realization of, yeah, probably got to fix my mind, you know? And because I mean, we've all lost weight. How many times did you do it? Like a billion. You can't count. And I had always lost about 100 or 50 or 30 and gained it back because I got bored. I gave up. And
it's crazy how much of a mental battle.
Oh, every single day.
If you're not mentally strong and mentally ready, like I tell people, like, I'm not trying to be mean or nothing, but it's not gonna work.
Yeah,
you're gonna, you might lose the weight, but you're gonna gain it back until you mentally change.
Yeah, so. And it's not even, and you don't have to have that mental strength, but you have to get that mental strength. You have to learn. You have to, I had to practice every single day. I felt like an absolute imbecile telling myself every day how much I loved myself, how beautiful I was, how worthy I was, that I would succeed at anything. Let me back up a little bit.
Yeah.
So with the doctor, she said, what are you doing after this appointment? I was like, I don't know, probably going to McDonald's. Like, what are you doing?
You want to go with me?
Yeah. And so she said, well, you're gonna stay here and talk to somebody. So she brought in the on-site psychologist, and from that moment on, I talked to a psychiatrist every week, every couple weeks, and we never talked about my past and what caused it, and you know, it was all about the future and where can we see ourselves in life, and how can we move forward, and what makes you happy. And in that moment, nothing did besides my niece and my nephew. Okay. And they weren't anywhere near me. So they lived in San Diego. I was in Oregon. So I knew that I needed to leave my entire life behind. So I left my entire life behind in Oregon. Wow. Saved up some money, borrowed some money from my dad. Thanks, Dad. and drove a big old U-Haul down here and moved to Arizona because my job, that was the closest place I could live.
I mean, that's a lot cheaper too, right?
Way cheaper than San Diego. I did my research.
Yeah.
And so fast forward to Arizona.
Okay.
The first day I was in Arizona, I busted through my shower.
Really?
Like straight up 500-pound fat chick, foot goes through the shower, like big girl style.
Wow.
Like busted through it. And I was like, oh, right, that's probably like, now's probably a good time to start on like the eating part. You know, like mental health is getting there, you know.
Maybe physical health can be next.
Maybe, you know, I was doing it in stages. I didn't do it at the same time. I worked on my mental health for about 5 to 6 months before I found John, who really kicked me into gear, and I'll talk about that in a second. But so my first, and with the mental health, every day I had to turn my negative thoughts into positive ones. I always felt like a failure. I always felt like I wasn't good enough, like I was worthless. I mean, I've always been kind of confident in my body, but I never was like, you look good today,
Yeah.
you know, and especially during that last year of my depression, like, I wouldn't even shower for like a week or two at a time. Like, it was disgusting. Like, I was not a happy person.
Yeah.
No one wanted to be around me. I didn't want to be around me. I had to change that thought pattern.
Yeah.
And you feel so crazy at first. And then just like your negative thoughts are patterned to teach you to be negative. And I mean, you weren't born hating yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
You told yourself to hate yourself.
That's something that I still do this, and it's something that I'm working on. I do it a lot less now, but I'm someone that if I start thinking negatively, like I live in it, and like and I'll try and pull from any negative thing that's happened in maybe the past 3 months, and I'll let like just myself live in this like crazy negative world, and like people would come and say hi or whatever it is, and I'll be in my room and they'll come inside and I'm just like, I hate you, you know? Like I'm going through this thing, and like I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
Like that, it's crazy that people have deal with the same things I do. I guess.
Yeah. And it's completely crazy. And I just dealt with that. Like, I let some really crummy things affect me emotionally and negatively. And so I literally was sitting in bed the other night, and I was just like, oh, I can't do this. I am worthless. I am, you know, fat, and I'm gonna gain it all back, and I'm not, you know. And then I was like, whoa, hello, Stacia 1 year ago. What, not Stacia 2.0, Stacia 1 year ago. Like, what's the deal? And I literally, in that moment, tackled every single negative thought and flipped it to a positive one. So I can do this. I have done this. I just lost 100 pounds. Like, I am worthy. And until you know that you are worthy of a happy and healthy life, you won't create that for yourself. And that's something that you have to know and have to remind yourself of. And so when I got to Arizona, I didn't know a single person. Like, it was tough. So it was a huge part of ridding myself of all toxic relationships, all negative relationships, friends, family, acquaintances, just and starting fresh. So I was really picky about the friends I have now, which are only a couple, but I've selected them carefully. And now I have one more.
Me too.
Yes. and so I didn't know anyone, so I was like, well, I'm make it or break it. So breaking it, I broke through my shower. And that was a wake-up call. Then my aunt left, so she drove down with me. My aunt left. I ordered like pizza for 12. I needed to go grocery shopping. I was too tired. I was so swollen because I was 500 pounds. I just traveled. Like, my body hurt so bad. I was not about to go to the store. And I ordered so much pizza to like last me for a week, and I ate it and I was like, this is disgusting. Why am I eating this? It doesn't even taste good. I threw it all away. The next day kind of started eating healthier, went to the store, and I knew that I had to eat healthier. And then, but I still was like rocking my Cocoa Puffs, Reese's ones.
Reese's Puffs
They really are. And I was really eating kind of bad still, but I was eating less. My aunt was like, what if you started Weight Watchers? Like, if I pay for Weight Watchers, will you go? And I was like, yes, like I will go. So started kind of like tinkering with Weight Watchers, and in that same week I saw your video, and
the skin one.
Yes, the one that Ashton Kutcher posted. And I was like, my dude, you know. And truly, loose skin has been a fear of mine forever. Once you need to lose, I mean, I have over 300 pounds to lose. I'm doing it naturally, you know?
People will ask me, like, they're like, I have 30 pounds to lose. I mean, don't stress about it. Like, if you don't have over, like, 100 pounds, like, it's not going to be that bad. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I mean, it is something that, like, people, they, like you said, like, worry about. And I'm like, you guys, trust me, you'll be happier.
Yeah.
With loose skin.
Like, I'm super wiggly already, and I'm, like, stoked because it means the fat's gone, it's deflated, like, my body is changing, and it's rad. Like, I'm proud of that. And when you said, like, I'm proud of this, this is my skin, this is my battle scar, I was like, yeah, like, is it really? Or like, but yeah, it is. Like, I could see it, and I could see it in your eyes, and then not just
flies.
I know,
Attacking
not
us,
just
man.
it wasn't just your message that that really moved me, it was all of the love that you had.
Yeah,
so,
I know. I'm very lucky.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So all of the comments of like, yeah, but you're so fine, and like, look how hot you still are. And it was like, but you look amazing, and like, who cares about that skin? And then I was thinking, skin doesn't prevent me from living life. My fat does.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like, I could have wobbly skin and go ride the Matterhorn.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I can't do that
or,
now.
Like, I can have loose skin. I talk about this all the time. I can have loose skin, but still reach down in time. Like,
Totally.
shoot, before I would have to take it off, put it on my lap, tie it.
Yeah, like, I want to golf again so badly.
I remember I tried to golf, and I couldn't get the swing right. I couldn't do it.
Because my arms
work.
don't go straight.
Yeah,
like,
it was, I remember that. I remember someone was trying to help me golf, and they didn't understand. I was like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Like, that thing, I can't physically do that. And they were just like, oh, but that's another story.
My clubs are in the closet. I'm
Yeah.
ready to do it. It's a bucket list. He got checked off today of that bucket list. And golfing's another one. So, yeah, there's so much that my fat prevents me from, my body prevents me from, and I'm not scared to use the word fat.
Yeah.
Like, I used to think it was like the F-bomb of the big girl world.
Yeah, I used to be afraid to say like I was obese and stuff, but I was. You know what I mean? There's
totally.
nothing wrong with saying that. And I think it's because people, like I would live in denial, so I wouldn't use that word ever,
Exactly.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people in denial. And I was in denial of my health. I knew I was a big girl.
Yeah.
But like, and I would, I still am like, big booty Judy. Like, watch out. Is this chair gonna hold Big Bear? Big booty Judy. It does, by the way. But really, like, you have to roll with the punches, and who knows if I'll even be funny when I'm skinny, because I won't have anything to joke about.
They're all, John, you're not gonna be funny anymore. I'm like, well, like,
I'll make workout jokes.
Yeah, exactly.
Look up a fan.
Yeah. Oh God.
And then, yeah, sorry for that. That was terrible. So anyway, so then the next day I was like, okay, we're getting serious. Totally rocked Weight Watchers for a minute. And by minute I mean like a couple months, because I didn't feel like I loved it. Like, I was still eating a lot of Weight Watchers cupcakes, like every day, you know, and I felt like, okay, I'm losing weight, but I wasn't learning about the nutrition. I wasn't teaching myself about nutrition.
Yes.
So then I found these.
You guys know how much I harp on that.
Yes. So then I found these amazing people. They found me. Called Wake the Wolves. I talk about them a lot. They're my friends. I don't work with them or for them, but I'm obsessed with them. Hi, Stephanie and Graham. But I love them. And they're all about making healthy living fun and sustainable, which you're a big fan of that word, but doing it for life, because that's what we should do. And so they introduced me to kale. I had never tried kale. And something that they said is, try something 8 times to make sure you like it. Only because that line worked in their book that rhymed with something else. Like, but it stuck with me of like, yeah, I should really try something 8 times before I decide if, ugh, I hate it. Like, I really don't like radishes, but I've been trying them a bunch just because I want to like them. Like, I want to like more vegetables. Because when we have habits of eating poorly, like, we have to retrain ourselves.
Exactly.
And so now kale is literally my favorite food.
I your green mustache thing.
Yes. And I like have kale shirts, and I just ate kale the day before I came over. Like, I love green food. I love vegetables. And so then I started like eating cleaner, and now I just really eat clean. I don't even count calories anymore. I drink nothing but water. And then beginning, like, the biggest thing for me was cut out fast food, cut out fried food, cut out soda and alcohol, and junk food. And so those were like the basis. Pretty much how I used to eat, now eat the polar opposite. Because that got me to 500 pounds. The polar opposite's gonna get me the opposite body. And just keeping it simple. Like, if I eat real food, I'm gonna get full on like a bajillion cups of lettuce versus a bajillion cups of stroganoff hamburger helper, you know?
or 1,000 cups of Dr. Pepper, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So like that's interesting. It's funny that because we were talking about this before we started filming. It was like I told her that like when I first started, I did this thing what I called the common sense diet, which is literally exactly what she just explained. It's like cutting out soda and junk food and fast food and fried food, like stuff that you're like everyone in the world knows is not something you should be eating if you're trying to be healthy, you know?
Yeah.
So that it's cool seeing that. And you talk about how like you did Weight Watchers and you're like, it's cool, it's working, but I'm not learning.
Right.
So you're literally like me in girl form. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. I've actually been told that a lot. Thank you.
I tried it on earlier. It didn't work out very well.
Dude, if he actually did try it on, it would not come off because this lip stain is amazing. I kissed your niece and it didn't even come off on her.
Really?
Yes.
That's funny.
On the mouth.
On the mouth. So you started that, and then what got you to kind of like start your like Instagram and stuff like that? And
oh, you!
Oh, really?
Yes.
Really?
Because I wanted to creep on him.
That's so funny. And now you have how many followers?
45,000.
Yeah, that's crazy. I remember so like the way that I found her, and I feel bad because like I don't know how many.
I literally wrote him probably 5 emails, and really? You don't even know. But now I get it though, you know. And before I was like, he has 1 million a day, I'm sure. So when that happens with me, I get it too. Of like, I try to respond so much, but it's hard too. And but yeah, so it was like when I did my 100 pounds down, I think right before that too, I did like, because everyone kept asking me, who inspires you? I'm a big person of, there's a big difference between inspiration and motivation. Motivation comes from within, in my opinion. Like, what motivates me are my niece and nephew, the life that I want to live. What inspires me are people like this guy and you know, other people who have done it, and that it's kind of different for me. So when someone asks me who inspires you instead of what motivates you, I was like, that's the question I need to answer publicly. And it was you, and it made a huge difference because we all know we have to mentally get on board. Every single write-off that I do on my Instagram, I say that always remember it starts in your mind and moves to your heart before it reflects in your body. You have to want it, believe it, work hard to achieve it, mind, body, soul. And that is because one day in the very beginning, I was emailing someone back and explaining to her like how you've got to do this. And I was like, ooh, that was good. Like that's really like, I feel good about these words, you know? And so I sign off with that with everything, and it's so crazy. So like when I saw you, or when I started Instagram, it was to look at you, and I like started kind of posting, and then like a couple people shared my stuff, and then it just kind of took off from there. And with Facebook, I have a Facebook with Stacia 2.0 as well, but I talk a lot about mental health, not just losing weight. It's a lot about the mind and getting healthy and being positive, and working on that along the way, you know. There will be setbacks, but you have to just keep moving forward. You don't give up, you reroute. Like that's what I was just telling John, is that, you know, you really have to just think, oh, I've had a really rough week, or even a rough month, or even a rough 2 months, but that's okay. My old self would have been like, gain 5 pounds, I might as well just go, game over, you know, KO. So it's not though, you just say, or even in that same day, like, don't ruin your week, don't ruin the rest of your day, like just jump back on board, drink a ton of water to detox whatever you just ate, you know, just keep going. And that's a huge difference in this journey versus the next, or versus the past. And people ask me all the time, like, how do you know this is different? Like, dude, I just knew. Yeah, exactly. Like from the moment I knew. Yeah. And that's when you know.
That click. You know what I mean? I talk about that all the time, the click. So segueing from what you were just saying, like what would be, to kind of wrap this up, what would be the number one thing you would say to someone that's like, that wants to start? Like what would you say they should work on? I know it's a hard question.
It's such a hard question. I know
it's a hard question. But like what would be it?
I genuinely think that every single person is worthy of a happy and healthy lifestyle. Everybody. And you can do it as long as you work towards it. I had to work to get mentally healthy. I wasn't just there. You don't just wake up one day and say, mentally ready.
Exactly.
Like, I think I can do this now. Like, you have to work at it every day, but it's worth it. I don't kill myself in the gym.
Yeah.
Like, I need to, but I don't, and I've still had great results. Like, you just do the opposite of what got you obese, and do the opposite of what made you unhappy. So think positively, rid yourself of toxic relationships. A lot of friends are lost when you change a life like this. I'm sure you experienced that too. I had friends that I revolved around because we all like to eat.
Yeah.
You know, we all like to sit around and do nothing all day. And I don't have that lifestyle anymore. And you're allowed to live for you. You're allowed to live selfishly. I mean, you really are allowed to do that without apologies, because it's your life. You know, this is John's life. This is my life. Like, we share it with all of you guys, and that's amazing, and I love to do that. But it's our individual lives, and that's so important, because you have your own life too. Yes, you have a family. Yes, you have kids. You have a husband. You have, you know, friends, a job, a career. But it's your life, and you are who's going to live with you when you're 90. And do you want to make it to 90?
Yeah.
Or do you want to make it to 35?
I know.
So that was real close to 35.
Yeah, I talked about that too. I really appreciate you coming, and like my main thing is, you guys hear this, you hear me say this all, it's almost in the same exact vein as what you said. It's like, you never fail until you give up. I've said that a million times, but it's so true, especially with like a weight loss journey. It's like, you're gonna mess up. I mess up all the time. I messed up last week. I messed up 3 days ago. You know, it happens, but it's how you react to that. Your reaction is so much more important than the actual action that happens. But like I said, I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your story. It was really good. You did such a good job on camera. It's first time, right? Yeah. So thank you, everyone. Go follow her on Instagram. She does have a YouTube. I'll link it down below. I don't think there's any videos on there, but that will be changing very soon.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. There was one other thing that I wanted to say. Oh yeah. Look how buff I am.